May 15, 1965. Dearest Suzie, I have been getting letters from you pretty regularly here lately, and of course I am tickled to death. I'm looking forward to getting some slides of you and the boys now. This is Saturday, and we have the day off. We needed it too, because we really flew for the past 2 days. It was a real profitable operation that we were on, though. The final count on VC dead was 215, and I got my share. Yesterday morning, we were flying in the battle area and decided that all of the VC that weren't killed had moved out, so we landed to look for damage. It was quite a sight. Luckily, I had my camera, and I took a lot of pictures. I don't know if I will ever have guts enough to show them to anyone, but I have them anyway. They are pretty bloody. I also picked up one of the rifles that they were using against us. I can keep one as a souvenir, or however you spell that, I think. I had the worst scare of my life day before yesterday. I was flying around an area with a lot of foxholes when one of our gunners thought he saw somebody moving in one of them. We made a circle around it, and sure enough, there were 2 men trying to hide in one little hole. When they realized that we had seen them, they jumped out and started shooting us. We were all so surprised we couldn't even shoot. We made a turn and came back at them. We must have fired 8,000 bullets and 20 rockets at those 2 before we finally got them. They were some tough cookies. As I said, we are off today. I slept until 10 o'clock this morning, then I got up and just messed around with nothing to do. It is 3 in the afternoon now. Our club is closed for repairs, so the only place we have to eat today is the mess hall. I got up too late for breakfast, so I had some cookies and coffee. Then I didn't feel like eating lunch, so I didn't go. The only thing I could find in the PX this afternoon was Vienna sausage, so I got a can of them. Needless to say, I am really looking forward to supper, and I don't care what it is. Oh yes, I wasn't going to tell you about this until I got home, but I will anyway. I haven't had a cigarette since the 2nd of May. That has been 2 weeks. That is, I didn't have one until this afternoon. Boredom got to me today, and I just put out my first one. I have been thinking of something to send you for an anniversary present next month. And if you don't mind, I don't think I will send anything. I'm going to get you something, but what it costs to send it, I could spend on something else for you or the boys. So, if you don't object, I will get you a present and write and tell you what it is and then bring it when I come home. It makes me sick to have to pay airmail rates. Another reason for not sending anything is that I want to send Charlie home next month if I can. That is something I'm going to have to pay anyway, and I'm too busy lately to take good care of him, so if you want me to, I will try to get him off. I'm supposed to go on R&R to Saigon on the 2nd of next month, and I figured I would just take him with me. Let me know what you think of this idea. It has been miserably hot here all day today, but now it is starting to cloud up and looks like rain. I sure hope so. Well, I am about to run out of talk, so I guess I will quit for now. I love you all and miss you all very much. Tell the boys I love them and miss them. And you take care of yourself. Remember, I love you very much. Sincerely, Bill. There were 2 points of interest in this letter that I should mention. First is what Popi describes as they fight the VC. The photos he took on that day are, in fact, pretty bloody. I saw one of the photos for the first time when I was 23. This particular image was in Popi's personal briefcase. My dad pulled the briefcase out of his closet, dusted it off, and thumbed through the newspaper clippings about Popi getting arrested in Papua New Guinea, as well as the citations for his many medals until he got to a large black and white print. My dad pulled it out, concealing it from Meemaw, and handed it to me. I was immediately shocked. Being handed the photo was unreal. It was printed on old matte photo paper and was quite large. For some reason, it reminded me of a Matthew Brady photograph. Brady was a famous Civil War photographer who is synonymous with the war. I do not know just how long I stared at the photo, but it was long enough for my uncle, who was standing nearby, to comment on how quickly I had left the conversation. The first thing I noticed was a man's face turned to the camera. He had a lifeless expression, but one of pain, which looked directly at the viewer. Around him are many limbs, totally scattered about the frame. I tried to count the number of bodies, but lost track. Next, I noticed the river in the background. I don't want to imagine what color it was with all that carnage flowing into it. The final thing I saw were eviscerated organs in the center of the picture, belonging to the man with the lifeless face. This made me feel guilty. Why had I not noticed the organs first? I could not imagine the pain he had felt before his death, if he even felt any pain at all. Walter Benjamin, a German philosopher, made the argument that after the invention of the photograph, people only remembered things as images, pictures. Is this the image Popi saw every time he thought of Vietnam? Why did he keep it in his personal collection? Was this photo an indication of a responsibility? A reminder of things he would not be allowed to forget? Things he could not forget if he tried? I could not find the slide for this photo. Where was the negative? Why only keep the print? Meemaw eventually chimed in. Is that one of Popi's black and white photos? I snapped back into reality. Yeah, I've never seen this before. She nodded. Me neither. He wouldn't let me see those, and I never cared to look. My dad came over to take the photo from me and showed it to my uncle. He laughed when he grabbed it. Isn't it amazing what a rocket can do to a human body? Besides this photo, there are a series of pictures in his collection of slides, many of which depict men who were tunnel rats getting smoked out of their holes in bombs. There are at least 7 in a series, which show different men laying in a field or under the ground, their grotesque faces at the bottom of holes. I will not be sharing any of these photos, at least not publicly. Not on here. I know they were enemy combatants. I know Popi is the one who took the photos. But as an anthropologist, and as a human being, I would rather treat their bodies with some sort of decency or dignity. I hope my description is good enough for you. The next point of interest is Popi's rifle. Years ago, my dad shared with me that Popi had brought one back over and that he thought an uncle or a cousin had it. I considered it lost and was happy to find, in Popi's personal briefcase, the export paperwork from South Vietnam allowing him to take the rifle with him, written in Vietnamese. Google Translate helped me figure out what it said. Eventually, we found out one of my dad's brothers had it. Long story short, it finally made its way to me a few months ago. Up until that point, I knew very little about it, and when it was finally in my hands, I determined that it was a Mosin-Nagant. The Mosin-Nagant is a bolt-action rifle originally developed by the Imperial Russian Army in the late 19th century and widely used through both world wars. Chambered in 7.62 by 54 mm, it was rugged, reliable, and produced in massive quantities by the Soviet Union and its allies. By the time of the Vietnam War, the Mosin-Nagant was largely considered outdated by modern military standards, yet it remained in widespread use among NVA and VC forces, particularly in its M91/30 sniper configuration and earlier infantry variants. These rifles were often provided by the USSR or China as part of Cold War military aid packages to communist-aligned forces. Popi's rifle has a Russian maker's mark on it and is stamped indicating it was built in 1961. In Vietnam, Mosin-Nagants were typically used by guerrilla units and rural fighters who favored their durability and the high power of the cartridge, especially in sniper or ambush roles. While not suited for rapid-fire engagements, they were ideal for hit-and-run tactics, long-range potshots, and nighttime harassment of U.S. and ARVN forces. American GIs frequently encountered Mosin-Nagants when sweeping enemy positions, and many were brought back to the U.S. as war trophies. Their presence in the conflict is a reminder that even by the 1960s, the tools of war didn't have to be modern to be deadly effective, especially in the hands of a determined, resourceful enemy. The photo I chose for today depicts one of Popi's friends at a range, holding a Mosin-Nagant. It may be the one Popi brought back home, but we can't be sure. It has a bayonet attached to the barrel. When Popi brought his rifle back, he decided to get it nickel-plated, which I've been informed has hurt the value. Maybe to someone else, it's just as valuable to me. I'm Alex Lowy, and I hope you have enjoyed listening to this episode of Dearest Suzie, and receiving messages from the past that my Popi wrote exactly 60 years ago. I sincerely appreciate your time and interest. Please consider following the podcast on your preferred platform, and if you're enjoying it, I kindly ask that you take the time to rate the show and leave a review. Also, please follow the project on YouTube, X, and Instagram. All likes, comments, shares, and reviews will help grow the reach of this story. The links for these things should be in the description of this episode. Please feel free to email me at dearestsuziepodcast@gmail.com if you have anything you'd like to say. I'd love to chat or to hear about your stories as well. Thank you for listening, and God bless.